Roland Von Nidda. I'm a Jesuit priest at Arrupe Jesuit University in Harare, Zimbabwe. So today I'd like to talk a little bit about Ignatian spirituality. And for the first part, I'm going to talk a little bit about what Ignatius calls the principle and foundation. I'm going to characterize it by just one word and then explain what that word is. So the word I think that best characterizes the principle and foundation is why, the big why. Not a little why, the whys we ask every day in our lives. Why did the car break down? Why have I got a headache? Why have the lights gone out? The big why. Why are we here at all? Why is anything here at all? If we look at our planet, if we look at the cosmos, why are there all these things? Why is there something rather than nothing? Is there a meaning? Is there a purpose to it? And why am I here? Why are we here? Is there a meaning and purpose to our lives? Now, if you're a materialist or an atheist, there's no overall meaning and purpose. We're just here. You're born, you live your life, you die, that's it, finished. But Ignatius, in the principle and foundation, is saying, no, there is a meaning, there is a purpose. And that purpose is God. Because God is the foundation. That's why he calls it principle and foundation. He is the foundation of our lives. God is being itself. We are all beings. And we have our being in the being of God. So God is the ground of our very being. So when we look and say, why am I here? What's the purpose of my being here? It's got to be because it's God. And Ignatius, in the principle and foundation, says, the ultimate why of my being is to know God, to love God, to serve God. That's what my whole life is about. And that's got to be the prime meaning and purpose of my life. And he goes on in that principle and foundation, and he says, therefore, everything you do in your life, everything you think of, everything you say, all your actions, they all have to be subordinate to this primary why. They have to be done in accordance with God, with the will of God. So this makes a big difference to our life. If you really believe that, if you say, my being, my existence is God. I am existing in God. In Him we live and move and have our being. So God isn't some separate being outside there. God is my very life. And the more I can open up to that God, experience that God, live my life out of that God, the more happy I am, the more fulfilled I am, because that's what I'm made for. That's the whole meaning and purpose of my life. Now, if we really believe that and live it, it's going to change our lives. You'll see everything with new eyes. Everything is meaningful. Everything has a purpose. My own life has a meaning. It has a purpose. There's a direction. I know where I'm heading. I know where I'm going. I'm not just going around in circles. And that gives me a motivation. We want to do things when we find it's meaningful. So we want to do things. We want to live this way. And when you want to do something, when you're motivated to do something, you love doing it. You do it out of love. And that is what gives us our happiness as human beings. So Ignatius says the way we open to this is through prayer. That's what prayer is, opening to the being of God, the Spirit of God. And when we do that, that's when we find happiness, that's when we find life. So I encourage everybody to try and live like that. Try and see the meaning, the purpose of your life, and then your life really changes.